Right, welcome to the new year, and there is no better way to kick off 2025 by playing some My Team Career mode. Now, I am going to say I'm currently talking to you from the future. This is editing FUTcrim. Pretty much, I was recording as I normally do, and all of a sudden, all of my software's broke, meaning I'd lost all of the footage from qualifying. My commentary and webcam is nowhere to be seen, but all you need to know is that at Singapore, in Q1, I made it through after finding half a second on my second run, got through, and then in Q2, I exited the pits a bit too late, and it started raining, meaning I'm starting the Grand Prix, should have been P16. However, two drivers took engine penalties. I don't know why you do it at Singapore, but they did, meaning I'm actually starting from P14. So here you go, heading you to the race start. Bosh. And here we go then, Singapore Grand Prix. Now, my race starts have actually been getting a lot better recently. Let's see if I can keep up that run of form, and we are away. And to be honest, that isn't brilliant, but it isn't awful by any means. I am going to lose one place going into turn one. Oh, that got a bit too close for comfort, but I have actually managed to almost make a place up. We're going to go round turn 3, I think that is. Honestly, I'm not too sure. We're going wheel to wheel with Checo Perez. This is going to get very, very sketchy. On the exit, massive snap of oversteer, but we're okay. Now, I'm feeling dangerous, so I'm going to send it up the inside of Jack Doohan. Here we go. Sue! Look at that, lovely overtaken. I haven't even got it done yet. Into whatever corner number this is, and hang on, I'm going for a world-class... Where did that come from? Realistically, where's that come from? I have just put Daniel Ricciardo in the absolute bin. Have some of that. Already up a place on this opening lap. I am cooking up something absolutely egregious. Now, Tsunoda is looking very overtakeable. He is on those medium tyres. Is there a potential move at the end of Sector 2? I definitely think there is. Come on, then. Let's have ya. Up the inside. Give him room. He's driven into me. Okay, that was a bit dodgy, but we got the move done, I guess. Sort of ruined that. I think that might have been my problem. I don't think I gave him enough room, but whatever. We are already up to P12 in this race, plus 2 places already. Absolutely goat stuff by FUTcrim. Alright, this is a bit crap. I've lost DRS on Ocon, and that was sort of going to be my main strategy for today's race. I was just going to try and stay in the DRS of Ocon, and then just sort of get myself towed along and just see where it takes me, just sort of chill in P12, but that's going to be quite tricky when I clearly don't have the pace to keep up with him. Hang on, no, I've managed the shithouse DRS, I think. I have, look at that. Don't know how I've managed that. I would also say the ERS charge is pathetic, to be honest. I'm only gaining about 20% a lap, which doesn't sound too bad, but when there's 3 DRS straights and a 4th straight, which doesn't have DRS, but it's still pretty long, you kind of need more than 20% a lap, to be honest, but yeah, I'm just going to try and stick with Ocon. That's all I'm going to do. Right, I finally had a moderately decent Sector 2, meaning for the first time this race, I've actually got DRS down this straight, which, to be honest, really hasn't made much of an impact at all. The gaps are still exactly the same as when I didn't have DRS, and as you can see, the tyres are not looking pretty at this stage. They are already in the upper 10s on the rears. Now, I don't know when I'm actually stopping. I believe it's like the lap 8, 9 area. Yeah, it's going to be lap 9, so I'm about halfway through the stint. So, my tyres should be okay, but of course, it's not brilliant when they're already this worn, and of course, the more worn they get, the quicker Tsunoda's going to be in comparison to me. Of course, his tyres right now are probably looking quite pretty. So, I don't know, to be honest, but of course, what we do get on Tsunoda is that undercut, which is going to be massive. To be fair, this is probably the most, realistic F1 race that I've ever done, because everyone's sort of doing the exact same pace, and no one's overtaking, and everyone's just sort of here. You know, in real life F1, they'll do, 50 laps of just this, just driving around. Although saying that, it is looking a bit bleak for me now. I do have some DRS, but as you can see, Yuki Tsunoda right behind me now. Of course, I am going to be stopping in 2 laps' time. Well, actually, it's a bit more than that. It's technically 3 laps' time. And looking at the tyres, hang on, got to do a corner first. Can I? Hang on, here we go. There we are. Yeah, that looks absolutely tragic, to be honest. Look at that right side of the car. That is genuinely woeful. I think I'm going to have to stop 1 lap earlier than expected because those rights, they're going to be dead by the end of lap 9. Car is also now becoming extremely slidey and undrivable, and as you can see, the gap to Ocon is getting quite large. You know, I'm now losing 0.2 a sector, so I'm definitely going to stop a lap earlier. Here comes Tsunoda. He's going to try and overtake the cheeky bugger. Look at him go. Trying something barbaric. You don't overtake FUTcrim on the inside of turn 1. That just doesn't happen. Do you know what I mean? I will say, though, that I'm probably not going to be able to keep him behind here. I've got no ERS left and no DRS. But actually, he's not even tried to go for the move. He didn't even get close enough to go for one. So I don't know how he's managed that. But, I mean, we absolutely take it. I'd rather be ahead of him and slowing him down rather than him go ahead and just clear off into the distance and then probably overcut me. All right, here we go. Tsunoda fails to overtake me, which is actually massive, to be honest, and I forgot to warn my team. Luckily for me, that doesn't really matter in this game. And for the first pit stop of 2025, is it going to be sloppy or good? Oh no, I couldn't think of a word that ended in oppy that meant good. Anyway, now I've had a lot of bad stops recently. It seems to be about a 33% chance of a bad one. That is world class though, from the PG Tipset at FUTcrim F1 Team pit crew. That is wonderful. A 2.3 second stop is glorious. That's going to allow me to lose the rear on pit exit because that's the most annoying pit exit in the world of Formula 1. But now I need a really good outlap to try and undercut some of the cars ahead. And I will say, even from the off, the grip is extremely good. Like, it's way better than the softs, you know, a lap ago, which of course you'd expect. But that means the undercut might work here. And yeah, I mean, the undercut usually works, to be honest. I always rely on the undercut. Good old undercut. We like the undercut on the FUTcrim channel. I need to stop saying that. That's going to take a while getting used to, you know, not saying FUTcrim anymore. But you know what? It's a good change and one I needed. So there you go. Right, as you can see, there is a lot of drivers entering the pit lane. I don't know if there's any that I was, you know, fighting with beforehand, being, you know, Tsunoda, Ricciardo, and Ocon. We'll have to wait and see. Round the final corner, it's been a very decent outlap. Nothing special, but decent. And we are going to come out. There is Daniel Ricciardo after stopping, and Esteban Ocon. And the undercut has succeeded. I have gained about 1.5 seconds by stopping a lap earlier, meaning I am now ahead of Ocon. And I might virtually be in the points. If I come out ahead of Tsunoda, then yeah, I should be virtually in the points, I think. And actually, look who's ahead as well. It's good old ex-teammate Nico Hulkenberg. Obviously, after getting, you know, P1 in Q2, didn't have a fantastic Q3. Now, what I've got to look out for as well is that Ocon is going to be extremely fast, especially in the Sector 2 department. For some reason, as you can see, I can't do it. Like, Sector 2 it just doesn't work for me for some reason. I may have to pull out the FUTcrim card, which is not let Ocon by, but ease him by, and then stay behind him for most of the race and get dragged on with DRS. I might have to do that in order to actually, you know, stay competitive. Because let's be honest, if I stay out as it is, I'm going to get overtaken by him anyway. I am horribly slow compared to him. We now have, I believe, Yuki Tsunoda also in the pits now, and no, that's not even Tsunoda, that's Albon, and I'm ahead of Albon. Wasn't Albon ahead of me? I think he was, and actually, I am you know what, I've just clocked Tsunoda's strategy, and it is nothing short of genius. Tsunoda is out on the mediums because he knows rain is coming at some point. Here comes Esteban Ocon. I'm going to outbrake him so I don't get overtaken. That's what I'm going to do. Tsunoda is staying out on the mediums so that he can wait for the rain and then go onto the wets. That is unbelievably intelligent and honestly something I should have considered. Because now there is rain falling. I don't know how many laps it's going to be before it actually starts badly impacting the track. But there is rain and it is on its way. Now this is quite interesting. Théo Pourchaire, who hasn't stopped yet, is currently holding up Carlos Sainz. He's doing a little Perez Abu Dhabi 2021 job for me. Look at this. He is holding him up so much. I actually crashed into Sainz because of how early and much he had to brake. This is incredible by Théo Pourchaire. If Théo Pourchaire now goes into the pits as well, that will unleash me to have a go at Carlos Sainz. And no, Théo Pourchaire is going to stay out. That's going to give me an opportunity at Carlos Sainz here. Come on then. I haven't got much ERS left. And Sainz is going to do the very intelligent thing and go for a move on Théo Pourchaire. But I've managed to slip one round the outside of both of them. Oh, stick it in. Keep it together. Whoa! Come on! What a maneuver that was. That was very nice. Very opportunistic. Do you know what I mean? That was class. I will say, though, the rain is definitely making a huge impact on track now. Here comes Carlos Sainz round the outside. I'm just going to try and defend, I reckon defending might actually be the play around here. And, yeah, to be honest, it's quite annoying. I should be in the points right now. But because, like, 2 or 3 drivers decide to stay out and wait for the wets, which, to be honest, is the much smarter move, I probably ain't scoring points at this stage. Now, at the moment, it is definitely still slick conditions. I mean, I am only 8 seconds slower than normal lap times. It's definitely still slick conditions, as I completely cut the track into turn 1. Just pretend you didn't see that. Honestly, it's going to be very difficult to call when it's going to be right to go in. I reckon the next lap, it might be wet enough to stop. But what I'm going to try and do is overtake Kevin Magnussen. He's on the old softs, and he's really slow. So I reckon there's a move on here somewhere. Hello, Mr. Magnussen. I'm going to try something wacky on you at some point in the near future. I can't tell you when. I think it might be here. Yes, it is. Here we go on Kevin Magnussen. I should be able to outbrake him immensely. And I do. At the start of Sector 2, well, actually, like midway through Sector 2, I am now up into P11 in this race. But look how fast Ocon is. Somehow overtakes Magnussen and is currently way quicker than I am. That's not brilliant, but, I mean, he was before, and now he's just even quicker. Now, as you can see, the front runners are stopping. So you know what? I'm going to stop right now. I'm going to go onto the intermediate tyres. I suppose that's one nice thing about being a midfield car, is that looking at the front runners who are like 20 seconds ahead, you do get a good idea of when to stop. And Ocon stays out. Ooh, that's quite interesting. I like that, to be honest. There's different strategies going on. I like that. I don't even know if Tsunoda's come in yet. He probably has. Now, I do believe that it's going to be raining until the end of the race. So going off that logic, going onto the wets now should be the correct decision. Why am I not... See what I mean about these slow stops? I'm telling you, they have changed something in the recent update that came out like a month ago, where they increased the chances by like quintuple. Because like I said, it's now 1 in every 3 pit stops is slow. It is an absolute scam. So because of that, obviously, I have now dropped down behind Carlos Sainz, and I've lost about 3 seconds, actually no, 2.5 seconds, about, which isn't ideal. Now, of course, Esteban Ocon is still out, so I should be able to come out ahead of him. But what I've got to hope is that it keeps raining. Like, that's what needs to happen if I want to get back ahead of Ocon and stay ahead. Also, I need to remember that the #1 rule for intermediate driving is you have to look after the rears. The thing that always does me in wet conditions is that I don't look after the rears, they get extremely worn, and I can't drive in a straight line anymore. So that's the target. Alright, as you can see, Ocon is now in the pits, and where am I coming out? Oh, I'm definitely ahead of him. Oh, I'm miles ahead of him. Ocon, that strategy really hasn't gone your way, boss. I'm not going to lie. That has gone cataclysmically wrong for you. Holy moly, I am so unfathomably slow right now. I don't know what it is. I need to stop cutting. I can't do it. I can't do it. I am so horrifically slow at the moment, and I don't know why. I feel like I can't get round a corner. Like, it is extremely bad. As you can see, I've lost like 7/10 to Sainz on this lap. Albon's absolutely cooking me. And honestly, I'm just going to protect my current position of P12 because that's all I can sort of do. But this is really bad. Ah, I can't do it. Why is that corner so awful? Oh my goodness. Right, I need to remember this corner. Brake a lot later. Even though every other corner you got to brake a little bit earlier. Now we get on the exit. And the main place I've been losing a lot of time in these wet conditions is up here. One of these corners, which is under the bridge, your car right here magically grips up right there. So I need to gas it at that point. Of course, you're under a bridge, so it's dry. And then here I have a lot of oversteer. Sainz gains another 6/10 on me. If Albon was to be ahead of me right now, he would also be 6/10 a lap faster than me, and that's a bit of a shame for him, really, that he's, you know, behind me, because he ain't going by. I don't care. I will do anything. I'll do a Verstappen. I'll crash him out of the race if I have to. I'm getting this P12. I'm not too sure what this lockage is, but I am dialed in all of a sudden. I'm actually doing somewhat okay lap times at this stage. I mean, 1.5 second gap to Albon. That's quite lovely. We have, like, what, 3-4 laps left as well. So I am looking very good to get a little P12 finish. Little bit annoying. I mean, if I was on Tsunoda's strategy right now, I would have bagged some very easy points and maybe got, like, on the podium. But honestly, if I can stay in P12, I am quite satisfied with that, because realistically, there's been no DNFs, and I have gained places in the race. So, as far as I see it, positive race all round. Penultimate lap of the race, and I'm still chilling in P12-age. Now, considering that I am a little bit faster than Alex Albon, and, you know, Sainz is gapping me by half a second a lap, I'm going to put that down as a car diff. I feel like if I was in a Ferrari right now, I'd be doing a lot better than Sainz. But yeah, to be honest, I don't know where this pace has come from. I mean, you saw my first few laps on the Inters were woeful. Like, I literally couldn't get around a corner. I mean, I still can't, but I was losing so much time to Sainz, like a second a lap. Now it's only like half a second a lap. And of course, Albon was right on Miaris. Whereas now, I'm sort of gapping Albon by like 2-3 tenths a lap, and I'm only losing half a second to Sainz. So I'm actually very happy with the progress I've made on the intermediates throughout the stint. It's very nice. And here we go. Let's finish up the most boring race I have ever done in my life. Realistically, we have had changing conditions, and this has still been the most boring race of all time. Nothing has happened. I've had a couple interesting battles on lap 1 and somewhere when I appeared, like before or after, I don't remember, with Teo, Sainz and Albon. Had a little bit of fun there, but apart from that, I've just been sort of driving on my own. And even though that, you know, that's been the case, I've just done this basically. Not really been under threat from anyone behind. The car in front is just going further and further away. I'm happy. I've driven well. It's been a fun race, you know, just driving around. I've barely used any flashbacks, which for me is an extremely remarkable achievement. You know, usually I crashed like 2 or 3 times a lap, especially in wet conditions. George Russell wins the race, which an unexpected result, to be honest, because I don't like George Russell very much and I don't expect him to win anything. But fair play. What I am very interested in, though, is I want to see where Yuki Tsunoda finished. Of course, Tsunoda was one of the only drivers, I think one of 3, to start on the mediums. And, of course, the strategy was he knew rain was coming, so he thought, right, if I just stay out on the mediums for a long time and then just stop when the rain arrives, I will be 20 seconds up the road from everyone else that have made their stops on the slicks. On the softs, I should say. So round the final corner we come. Checkered flag is out. Let's do a little bit of oversteer for fun. And there we go. P12, of course, we lose the point scoring streak. We can't go back to back to back. But I'm still satisfied with that, you know what I mean? It's okay. You know, it's all right. Right, and the survey says, where did Tsunoda finish? Right, there you go. See, that actually isn't that great. If I'm being perfectly honest, that is a bit crap, to be fair. As you can see, the top 6 only made 1 stop, but I believe some of them might have started on the soft tyres. Let's go and have a butcher's. No. Okay, so the top 6 who all ran the 1 stop, they were all on, they were all on medium tyres. Okay. So that was the strategy. As you can see as well, Pierre Gasly, who was starting P21, ran this same strategy, and he got into the points. This is, Magnussen and Théo Pourchaire. They both tried the 1 stop, but they started on the softs. That didn't quite work because obviously by the time the rain came, the softs were just so abhorrently slow. So if we take out my pit stop from the softs to the mediums, which was, we'll just say about 20 seconds at least, that would have put me around the P8, easily P9 if I'd done medium inters. So that's quite interesting. Of course, we didn't score any points. We might as well take a look at the standings anyway. After a Mercedes 1-2, that is going to put Lewis Hamilton remains leader of the championship. I completely forgot Mercedes were actually quite good this season. But George Russell has cut the gap down to just 7 points going into the final 3 races of the season. We, the PG Tips FUTcrim F1 team boys, we are still down in P13 and P14 respectively. But that's fine. P13, P14, that is pretty good. Of course, Théo Pourchaire's 12 points was when he was at Aston Martin, so doesn't really count. And in the Constructors, we are 15 points, all from me, of course. We are 7 points off Alpine. We are 10 points off RB. You never know what can happen in these final 3 races. But we are looking pretty good to cement P8, which to be honest isn't that bad. So that's going to be all from me. My first video of the new year is going to be the most boring race in F1 history, but I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe, all the good stuff. Of course, I can't say I'm on the road to 1.5k by the end of the year, because if my aspirations was to gain 70 subscribers in 365 days, it's a bit depressing. My goal this year is to reach 3k subscribers, so that's the target, so double what I have now. So if you want to come along and help me out, that'd be great. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you a lot later. Goodbye. Adios.